Hello, and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, we are going to be talking dupes. So these are dupes that I've seen online. Some of them I've already tested and I know my thoughts on them. Some of them I have not, and we are going to be trying them together and seeing if they really are dupes or not. My self-tan is fading. I guess this could count as the first dupe. My self-tan is fading and I haven't used this in a while, but I used the Loving Tan self-tanner a couple of days ago and it is already faded. So dupe number one, Loving Tan in the shade dark and Tanologist in the shade extra dark are very comparable, and Tanologist actually lasts a lot longer and fades a lot nicer on my skin. All right, first up is a product I've talked about before, but I haven't actually included this in a dupes video, so you know we had to include it. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter. This is gonna be the high-end side of my face, even though I've already put on some foundation and concealer. I'm just gonna put the Charlotte Tilbury and the dupe on the high points of my face because I'm getting used to a retinol right now, so I'm experiencing a lot of dryness. So I don't want to put this all over my face and potentially highlight that dryness, but I do want to highlight other parts of my face to draw the attention elsewhere. I've included this product, this Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter, in several videos because there have been many very close alternatives, but I feel like we now have the best one ever, and it's the e.l.f. Halo Glow. I have mine in the shade light medium, which is shade number 3, and I chose this shade because I typically like using these products in the way that I'm using them right now. If I wanted to use this as like a foundation alternative, then I would have gone with a darker shade. As you can see, Charlotte Tilbury and e.l.f. They both give just this really natural lit from within look. So you can use these as a primer, you can wear them on your own, or you can use them as a highlighter or as a mixing medium with whatever product you want to make more glowy. Very versatile product, and I genuinely cannot tell the difference between the two. All right, my lips are feeling a little bit dry right now, so I'm gonna go in with the next dupe, and it is for the Laneige Sleeping Mask. I got this during the Prime Day sale because I've heard so many people talk about it. I have used it quite a bit. I've been really enjoying it. I'm gonna use this on this side, and I find I love wearing this just during the day as like a chapstick. I also like sleeping in this to wake up with really hydrated lips. And then when I'm doing my makeup and I want to make sure my lips are nice and soft when I get to lipstick, I like putting this on kind of at the beginning of that process. But ever since I got it, I have been loving it. I know it's a super popular product, so I have been buying tons of different lip masks from the drugstore. There are several that are a pretty close match. I'd say the least similar in terms of texture would be this one. This is the Vaseline Rosy Lips, but it's still nice and hydrating. This Caramel Berry Sleeping Mask is similar. This is from Amazon. But my two favorites are the Milani Rose Butter Sleeping Mask, and then the number one favorite, the one that I'm going to use today, is the Burt's Bees Sleeping Mask. I have this one in Passion Fruit and Chamomile. I've been really enjoying this one. They feel the same and they look the same. With both products, in the morning when I wake up, I can feel the hydration still there on both sides. So any of those would be good alternatives for sure, but my two favorites are the Burt's Bees and the Milani. On to cream bronzer. I've gotten a lot of requests to dupe this. This is the Makeup by Mario Soft Sculpt Skin Enhancer. I got this in the shade medium dark. I chose this shade because the nature of this formula is that it's super subtle. As you can see, I just like really dipped my brush in there. This is a pretty deep shade and it's just very soft. There's also a powder that you can get to set this with a little bit of luminosity to it if you wanted to add that. I don't personally love that look for where I want to sculpt, but I think this is a really beautiful product. I would say my favorite thing about it is that it's very natural. I compared this to 7+ drugstore bronzers, all of the cream bronzers that I could find, and by far the most similar was the e.l.f. Putty Bronzer. I would describe this one in a very similar way. Really creamy, not too pigmented, very user-friendly. I have this in the shade Golden Days, and I feel like even the shades are somewhat similar. This might be a touch, no, it's not that much warmer. But when I swatched all of the cream bronzers that I have next to each other, they were all very opaque, very full coverage. There's a lot of pigment, and then you have to kind of sheer it out as you blend. Whereas this one, the Pixie bronzer and the Makeup by Mario one were the three that were very almost sheer in a swatch and sheer when you apply it. So instead of applying them and them looking really pigmented, you apply it and they look sheer and then you just build. The difference with the Pixie one, the Pixie Stick Bronzer is that it has actual shimmer in it. So that might be a closer finish to the Makeup by Mario one set with the shimmery powder, whereas this one just gives that soft dewy finish because it is a cream. e.l.f. just knocking it out of the park again. These two, in my opinion, are very interchangeable in terms of the way they apply, the way they feel, and how long they wear. All right, next up we have the Fenty Beauty Cream Blush in the shade Rose Latte, which is number 10. I feel like out of all of the celebrity makeup brands, Fenty Beauty is one of my favorites. I just feel like her products are really original, and it doesn't even seem like it's a celebrity owned makeup brand. I feel like even if Rihanna wasn't behind Fenty, it would still do extremely well because the product quality is just really, really great. Really pigmented, a nice dewy finish, super easy to apply. And then on this side, I'm gonna go in with Milani Cheek Kiss in the shade 110 Nude Kiss. I like both of these products individually, but I've never put them against each other, so we'll see how similar the result is. It's just a very wearable, everyday shade. If I'm looking super closely, I would say that the Fenty has a touch more of a radiant finish, whereas the Milani looks a little bit more like a cream to powder. The result is very, very similar. All right, went out on a limb here for the next one. I showed a new eyeshadow palette and a lot of people were saying it reminded them of a Patrick Ta palette. So I thought, let's go pick up the Patrick Ta palette and compare the two and see if these are actually similar. I went to Sephora to buy the Patrick Ta palette and I about had a heart attack when the lady was like, that'll be 72 blah, blah, blah. I was like, for one eyeshadow palette? And I was just like, this is why I do what I do. But here we are. This is the palette. It's the Patrick Ta Major Dimension. It's an absolutely beautiful eyeshadow palette. It has 5 mattes, 5 shimmers, and then over here are 2 cream eyeshadow bases. I almost feel like I shouldn't use it. Like now I really have to keep it. I'm starting with the lightest matte shade. I'm just gonna do a really natural look. Before I get too far with my eyeshadow, let's go ahead and powder because there is some glitter in here and I don't want any fallout sticking to my face. And then using the same nice big fluffy brush, I'm gonna take the next lightest matte shade right here and just start building up a little bit of dimension in the crease. Very, very pigmented, but very easy to blend. Okay, next I think I'm gonna go for it in this shade right here. Do these have names? Yes. So this is the shade Desire. Oh, these are spicy. Affair, Desire, Lust, Romance. And I think I'm just gonna try it on my finger. Ooh, that's pretty. The shimmer feels extremely soft. There's no grit to it. There's no like flecks of glitter, even though it kind of looks like there is. And I want to keep it nice and light, so I think I'm going to go in with the lightest shimmer shade right in the center of my lid and in my inner corner. All right, I may come back in with a darker shade, but I kind of like how it looks nice and light. So let's see if we can recreate the same look on this side with a much more affordable palette. This is the ColourPop Clay It Cool palette. I really, really like this. I talked about it in a recent video and then someone actually DM'd me saying, you know what, that looks a lot like the Patrick Ta palette. So on a different, well, it's the same brush, but it's a different one. I am gonna take the same kind of shadow. This is a bone colored shadow and apply this all over. You know what I didn't notice the first time? This is a cream. This is a cream base. Okay, so they are coming for Patrick Ta with this palette. I've never seen that from ColourPop before. Let me know if you guys have, but I've never seen them put a cream in their eyeshadow palette. All right, on that same brush, I'm then gonna take the next lightest shade. Okay, I'm getting a little bit of deja vu here. Put this through the crease. You guys, this is so similar. These tones are so similar. And then I'm gonna take this shade. How did I not see this? This is like, oh my goodness, very similar. All right, this is slightly more powdery than Patrick Ta, but I mean, gorgeous. Definitely doesn't feel like glitter at all. It also feels very soft. And then I'm gonna take the second lightest shade right here, it's the shimmer, and I'm gonna put this in the center, just to brighten it up, and also in my inner corner. All right, very, very similar tones, very, very similar color story. If you want those kinds of tones or you wanna follow along in a makeup tutorial using the Patrick Ta palette, the ColourPop one can definitely get you there. The difference I would say is that I see a little bit more intensity on the Patrick Ta side. Like I can see more glam, more flecks of shimmer, flecks of glitter than I can on the ColourPop side. This one looks a little bit softer, whereas this one looks a little bit more glam. Not a dupe, but very similar. I'm gonna take one of the deeper shades and just create a slight wing. I'm gonna take a little bit under my eye as well. I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side with the deepest shade in this palette, which has quite a bit more red in it, so we'll see how different they look. Well, once on, it doesn't look quite so red. Shade is called Aphrodite. All right, now I'm gonna do mascara and I'll be right back. Now that my lips are nice and hydrated, we're ready for the final two products, which are both lip stains. I did not think this through, but we'll talk through both of them. All right, first up, we have on this side, a new product from Urban Decay. These are their liquid lip color. I got the shade Textum. You're supposed to shake these really well and then apply. I'm sure you can already tell what product this will remind you of. I was kind of expecting this to be an exact dupe because Urban Decay and Maybelline are both owned by L'Oreal, so it's sort of, the packaging looks the same, the parent company is the same, but this actually feels quite different than the dupe that I've seen, and it's the Maybelline Vinyl Ink. I'm supposed to shake this really, really well as well. This on this side and just see if I still think that they are similar. No. Shades are very similar, but this feels like a water. This feels like a lip stain. This feels like a liquid lipstick. Yeah, of the two, Maybelline is by far better. All right, last but certainly not least is the very popular Fenty Beauty Poutsicle. I have mine in the shade Zesty Bestie. The way that I like to apply these is like I would a liquid lipstick. I apply like a decent amount and then let it sit. But on the other side, I'm gonna be using Flower Beauty in the shade Saucy. This is my favorite drugstore lip stain. This color is new to me. Let's see this color. Ooh, I like this. Apply this the same way, different colors, but we'll see how it looks in the end. All right, this is how it looks when it's first applied. Now I'm gonna give it a few minutes and then we're gonna blot it off. Okay, it's been about 5 minutes, so now I'm gonna take a clean paper towel and just blot. What you're left with is a stain that's gonna last almost all day. It definitely lasts at least 4 to 6 hours on me through eating, drinking, everything. Unpopular opinion, I personally prefer the Flower Beauty one. If you can see, the Fenty one kind of settles within my lines a little bit more, whereas the Flower Beauty one does not. So not a color match here, but I feel like it's a really great alternative. They feel the same. I think Flower Beauty looks a little bit better and they last the same amount of time on my lips. So those are all the dupes that I wanted to talk through today, test with you guys. Hopefully you got something out of this video. Let me know which one you're most excited for down in the comments below, and I will see you guys in my next one.